Hey guys, what's up? So we have some information about Rush Duels. These are the new duels that are going to be proposed within Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. But how exactly do they work and what exactly are they? Well, the whole idea is that the Rush Duel is a new concept created by the protagonist, that's Yuga. He doesn't like the idea of having rules, but rather building his own road forward. Of course, this is a pun of his own name. However, we quickly learn that from April 2020 that the Rush Duels will be introduced as a new product for the OCG and the physical card game. Here is a little bit of a timeline for you. The red area showing the cross section is where they're going to start introducing the brand new products. This is introduced within the existing 11th product season. With Rise of the Duelist being the first product of the season, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Rush Duel is going to be introduced. They haven't named the product as of yet. This is to tie in with the 7's anime and the introduction of the Master Rules on April the 1st. I find this a little bit intriguing, considering that April the 1st is April Fool's Day. Is it possible that they might be adding more information as of then? Or is there going to be some sort of trick that Konami's trying to play? We will have to wait and see for that. Now, as for the Rush Duels themselves, they are using specialized cards. These cards are meant to be more easy to understand and to be more attractive. Personally, from my point of view, I don't like them. For a couple of reasons. First, if you look at the second card, the blue one, go and do me a favour, watch Bakugan. I can't remember the series. I think it's just after they defeat Emperor Barodius. In the following series, one of the one of the rival teams has a Bakugan that's water attribute, or Aquas. That's the type, and it looks almost identical to it. I don't like the look and style of it either. They both look like something like Duel Masters or some other theme like that. I don't like the levels being as they are. I know they're clearer, but I prefer them being fully shown. I don't understand why the attack and defense stat are being moved up, because there's no reason to. They're perfectly readable on the bottom of the card itself, and I just don't really understand. I can see why they've made it more simple. If you look at some of the pendulum effects, since pendulum monsters are both monsters and pendulum cards, they have two types of effects, and no one is going to know exactly every single card in the game. There are over 10,000 at the moment, and they'll be rapidly increasing more. So even pro players have to read some of these cards, and they can take absolutely ages. I can understand from that point of view having them simplified. However, I don't think they had to take it this far. I mean, this is quite a drastic change for them to make. I've grown up with Yu-Gi-Oh! From like the first packs. I was used to Synchro Monsters because they had some, easy enough to understand how to use them. It sees monsters easy enough. Even Link Monsters, but this is a little bit unusual. As for the second rule, it's called Continuous Summoning. You can summon any number of monsters per turn, depending, of course, of how many cards you have in your hand. If you've got 5 monsters, you could potentially get up to 5 monsters up there. They still keep in mind the tribute summon rule. So that means if you've got a level 6, a level 5 or level 6, you need 1 tribute. That means if you don't have the cards required, you can't go into that monster. Level 7 or higher, it's 2 tributes. So you can be getting out some very powerful monsters. The issue I have with this is it seems like a weird version of pendulum summoning, just mass summoning, and you don't really get punished for it. It's just quite bizarre. Considering all the mechanics that have come into the game, Synchro Monsters I had no problems with, because they relied on having a tuner, which meant you needed certain, some of them required certain types, like the theme type, or certain attributes, or certain archetypes to be able to use them to go into their specific synchro monsters. So there are limitations in that. The Xyz monsters, I had no problems because they needed required levels, and sometimes they had to be specific types or attributes as well. Pendulum monsters, again, probably the most controversial of them, just because the first time they were introduced, there's no punishment for you summoning them. You could summon them. If they got destroyed, you can re-summon them next time, so long as you had scales. When links came into force, that kind of reduced the impact of the pendulum monsters, which was beneficial. Links were relatively easy enough to understand as well. This is very easy to understand. It's just, I don't know why they're treating normal summoning the same as special summoning now. Certain decks will have advantages from this, but it's just a strange direction for which they're going through. I suppose in another way, for the last few series, they've always added new mechanics from Synchro, Xyz, Pendulum, and Last Links that they thought there were enough extra deck monsters in the game that they didn't feel that in this series they needed to overwhelm people with another brand new mechanic. So they wanted to keep everything a bit purer. Even I've seen articles saying that they're actually planning to look into bringing back cards such as Blue Eyes White Dragon, might be shown in the anime, which is quite good. I'm happy to see some of the original cards, not just constantly go into the new product. And the third part is to do with mass drawing. So each turn you draw until your hand size becomes 5. This is the part I really don't like. I could probably deal with continuous summoning, as, you know, there's ways of stopping this, such as, you know, you've got Drowning Mirror Force, if they direct attack. However, I think there should be some form of punishment for mass summoning. By drawing up to 5 cards per turn, you're not causing any sort of issue, just people just almost like throw out their hand. And in certain decks, for example the graveyard heavy ones, this can just be easy monster fodder. But that's just my opinion. Whatever you think, I'm more than happy to kind of like discuss it with anyone on the comments. Again, traditional format is always being changed, but it's the direction of travel. What do you guys think of this? Are you looking forward to the new rules? Is there anything you particularly like or hate? I look forward to any arguments you have with me. Bring it on, as they say. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Make sure to subscribe and leave any comments. And I will see you next time.